All right, we're rolling.
Hello, everyone. I want to take a few minutes this evening or today to go over some housekeeping types of things that hopefully will help us get off to a good start this season with the North Carolina with the NBOA varsity staff. Not only get off to a good start, but have pretty smooth sailing through the season. We had a really good season last year. But we're not going to settle for that. I think we can do even better this coming season. And I'm looking forward to that. So let's just talk about a few things that we need to make sure that we've gotten covered to get us off to the right start. And the number one thing is let's make sure we're registered. And we've got two main organizations in the state of North Carolina in terms of basketball officiating anyhow that we're concerned with. And that's the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and that's the NCHSAA and the North Carolina Independent Schools Athletic Association, NCISAA. There's others um, uh, in that state association group that I'm involved with anyhow, the CAASC, the NCCSA, and I assign for all of the groups that I just mentioned, except the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. I do not assign any games that are covered by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. And the fact that that I don't, I guess, can cause a little bit of confusion. So let's just deal with that. I would like everybody on the NBOA high school varsity staff should be registered to at least some extent with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Quinn, you can register like and just to pay for the insurance and the books, right? I mean, there's two levels of registration. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct. I will double check that as we're going here.
We're talking, all right, and
Yeah.
just break in when I take a breath, when you've got the definitive answer on that. But I would like everybody to be registered with the North Carolina, High School Athletic Association. That's the main source of your insurance. Um, so, and there's other reasons as well. Um, and definitely, we have to be registered with the NCISAA, all of you. And that's just a matter of going online, I think through Dragonfly. I'll get that information out for anybody who needs it. Um, and it's a $20 registration fee, and that provides secondary insurance coverage. Um, and we need to be registered with both. So make sure that we're registered, make sure that you are registered with both the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the NCISAA.
And Chuck, it does look like here there should be a way to just select sort of insurance, and so I think it's like an insurance and background check sort of thing, level registration that's separate. You just wouldn't select a sport under the for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Wouldn't select a regional supervisor if
Yeah,
you're
just take,
only registering with for NBOA for the NCISAA games.
right. So yes, for those of you who will be registering and if you haven't, then you will be. Let's take care of that as quickly as possible. Um, but if you're registering with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, but you are only working high school basketball for me, there'll be a drop-down box that will ask you to select an NCHSAA regional association. Don't select any. If you're not going to work for any of them, don't select any of them. Just pass on that, go on to the next step.
And then,
Thanks,
and then
Quinn,
Chuck,
for
yeah,
checking.
and then for the NCISAA, there is a link on their website. Um, and it's a Google form you fill out, email, pretty simple, straightforward. Email, full name, phone number, what sports you're going to be officiating, who your regional supervisor booking agent is, And then do you have primary insurance policy covering you as an official, which again, that NCHSAA registration would cover. And then on there is a link to the registration payment. So it's actually just through their website. Um, and you that links you to another form that you fill out to complete the payment. Then once you complete the payment, you can come back to the original form and submit it.
There you go. Thank you, Quinn. Appreciate it a lot. Make sure that also that in Dragonfly, you need to be in Dragonfly, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Make sure that in Dragonfly, you're linked to the Northwest Basketball Officials Association. If you can't, if you haven't done that and you're not sure how to do that, um, if you log into the NBOA group in Arbiter, the page that is displayed when you first log in is your dashboard page. And the first thing you'll see on that page are your upcoming schedule of assignments, if you have any. And just scroll down and you will find a lot of useful information, by the way, as you scroll down, but most importantly for this discussion, you'll see a very precise step-by-step tutorial on how to link yourself with the Northwest Basketball Officials Association in Dragonfly. And I think in Dragonfly, the full name of my association appears, the Northwest Basketball Officials Association. If not, then it appears as NBOA. It's one and the same thing. But make sure you do that because for game fee payment purposes, the schools that I represent are kind of all over the board. Some pay through Dragonfly, some pay through Arbiter, some pay by check at the site. There are one or two that will pay me a lump sum amount for the game fees, and then I pay the game fees. So again, we're all over the place, but there are a bunch of the schools that I assign for that will be paying through Dragonfly. So if you're not in Dragonfly, I can't get you into that game for payment purposes. I would do it like I did it last year for the reason I just explained, because we're all over the place in terms of how schools pay. I will assign initially through Arbiter. All my games will initially be assigned through Arbiter. If, let's take, for example, Forsyth Country Day School, they pay through Dragonfly. So I'll assign, for instance, if Quinn's in that game, Quinn, I will put you in that game in Arbiter, publish it to you through Arbiter. As soon as you accept it, or soon after you have accepted it, at some point after you've accepted it, I will move you into that corresponding game in Dragonfly and accept for you in Dragonfly because you've already accepted in an Arbiter. And that way you'll show up on Forsyth Country Days and for payment purposes. So if you're not in Dragonfly linked to the Northwest Basketball Officials Association, I won't be able to find you to put you in that game. And then I have to contact you and we have to go, get you hooked up. So take care of that. If you can't figure out how to do it, you don't know how to do it, there's a pretty doggone good tutorial on your main page in Arbiter as to how to do that.
Not only are there steps there of how to do it, there are links to videos to show you how to go through each step. So again, even if you may already have a Dragonfly account. If, for example, if you're an NCHSAA official, you already have an account. But again, as Chuck said, you need to go through the process of linking that to NBOA. And again, there's specific steps and videos on how to do that.
Very good. Okay, so let's move to, a very important topic, and that's availability. I've been involved in high school basketball officiating, not just as an active official, but on the administrative side, the so-called, I guess, leadership side for, well, let's just say a long time now. Um, and, I've said for years, there's really no point in adding somebody to a high school varsity staff if that official is going to be generally unavailable on Tuesdays and Friday nights during the regular season. Um, and the reason that I say that is because those are the two main high school varsity nights. If you're not going to be available, generally speaking, on those two nights during the season, then what's the point of getting on the staff or even wanting to be on the staff? And what's the point of putting an official on the staff? It's just a waste of a slot. You might be the absolute best official in the entire universe. But if you're not available to me, generally speaking, on Tuesdays and Friday nights, you're of no value to me, or very little value, I should say. So the first thing is make yourself as available as you possibly can on Tuesdays and Friday nights during the regular season. Now that gets into a question or an issue. Well, what if I'm also working for an NCHSAA supervisor and I want to make myself available to them? Well, do so. Make yourself available to everybody that you want to work for. I am not going to I don't need to take anybody. I know who is also working NCHSAA assigned games in addition to the games that I assign. I know who all of you are. And I'm happy for you. And I'm not going to take any of you and assign you every Tuesday and Friday night. I'm not even going to assign you to most Tuesdays and Friday nights. I have that worked out with your NCHSAA supervisor. We have had multiple excellent conversations. We are in harmony. So if you're going to make yourself unavailable to me on my heaviest nights, I'm still going to like you as a person. I'm still going to I'm going to like you as an official to the extent that I like you now. But you're not an asset. If you're going to make yourself generally available, if you're also working for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and you're going to make yourself generally unavailable on Tuesdays and Friday nights for that supervisor, he's going to continue to like you as a person and he's going to continue to value you as an official to the extent that he does, but you're not going to be considered much of an asset to that supervisor. So leave it to us, to the supervisors, to work this out, and you just make yourself as available as you possibly can. And I think you'll find that you're going to get to wherever you deserve to be as a basketball official in terms of quality and quantity of assignments. You're going to get there. We're not gonna hurt you in that regard. The only person that can hurt you in that regard is you and your performance. Quinn, you have anything you want to question about? Do you have any questions about that? Anything you think I need to add?
No, I mean, I think I know there's been some people maybe concerned about, well, do I have to make sure I'm open for this person, not open for this person? I think, you know, everybody's working well together, which isn't always the case in basketball. So I understand where some of those concerns are coming from, but make yourself available, and I think the supervisors involved will make sure that if you are available, you are having an opportunity to work for both, to get seen by both, to get opportunities to advance with both. So just make yourself available and trust that everything else will take care of itself.
And again, I want to reiterate, the supervisors involved are on excellent terms, have an excellent relationship. It goes way back. And we have talked about this. We are in harmony on this. So let's all just go out and keep our, heads down and work our games, make ourselves available to the extent that you want to work high school basketball, make yourself as available as you possibly can. Now, I also understand that I have officials on my NBOA staff who are only working for me by choice. And there's not that many of you. Most of you are, that are in that category are college officials. And, that's fine. And some of you are not college officials, but have just made that choice. And obviously I'm gonna pull from that group as much as I can on Tuesdays and Fridays. So that I can make sure that I'm, leaving, plenty of availability for, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. All right, I don't think, and if anybody wants to discuss this, still has concerns about it, doesn't understand it, just pick up the phone and call me. I will be more than happy to discuss it, with anybody who needs further discussion on this. So that takes me to the issue of blocks. That's probably been my biggest disappointment, over the years is the failure of officials to enter blocks. So if you're too busy, and there was a point in time, and I don't really, I bring this up only because I want to stress that I try not to ask people to do anything that I'm not willing to do or I'm not capable of doing. Well, that's not true. There's a lot of things I'm not capable of doing, but you guys are, so I'll ask you to do the stuff I'm not capable of doing. But there was a time when I had a law practice that was pretty decent, and 3 children that I was raising as a single parent. And I worked men's college, several conferences, women's college, several conferences, and high school basketball. And it was kind of a chore to keep up with my blocks, but I kept up with my blocks. Of course, I had college supervisors that, if they sent you an assignment and you sent them, an email, an email back, or, took a phone call from them, said, "Oh, I am so sorry I forgot to block. I thought I blocked that date. I'm so sorry I didn't." That's exactly the same night that I always walk my dog. I don't know why I didn't block that date. Well, back then, you just got the phone hung up on you, and not only did you not get any more assignments for a while, you're probably gonna lose some assignments you already had from some of the guys some of the people I work for. So, I've never been like that. I try to be understanding, and I understand things come up with the last minute, but please cooperate with me, because it's a real chore, and you don't know, some of you know, but I'm sure many of you don't, how much time I spend putting crews together. I give a lot of thought to it. And so when somebody decides not to accept an assignment because, they forgot that it's their wife's birthday. I think their wife's birthday is the same day every year. Probably. I mean, most people's birthday is the same day every year. It's very disheartening to me, and it makes my life a lot more difficult than it needs to be. So please keep up with your blocks. If it is too much trouble for you, because I can't keep up, I don't know your work schedule. I don't want to know your work schedule. I don't know what other sports you do. I don't know any of those things, and don't want to know any of those things. So I rely on you to block your dates. But if it's too much trouble for you to go in and block your dates based on your known work schedule. Mine was, back in the day, was more difficult. As a practicing attorney, I didn't set my schedule. My clients and the judges and people like that set my schedule. So it was really difficult, but I got it done. I never, ever, ever got an assignment and had to decline it because I forgot to block a date. Never. And very rarely did I have to turn an assignment back in because of a conflict that came up later. But anyhow, if you're too busy to do that, you can't, you know that you work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, that you don't have the time or can't figure out how to go into Arbiter and block 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Send me an email and ask me to do it for you. I'm gonna make a one-time offer this year. I'll do it for you. I'd rather spend the time doing it for you than spend the time reassigning you, or having to replace you. That's a one-time, 1 year only offer. If I get inundated with those requests, the assigning fee, the booking fee, the registration fee for NBOA will go up next year significantly. But please do that. Now, enter your blocks for me, for NBOA, enter your blocks in Arbiter, because I'm going to sign through Arbiter. Once you get an assignment from me and you've accepted it, the very next thing you need to do is to go into Dragonfly right away and block that date in Dragonfly, so that we don't run into a situation where you've accepted a game from me and now you're getting, you haven't blocked the date in Dragonfly. If you're working for another supervisor that assigns through Dragonfly, they're not going to see that you've already got an assignment from me, unless I put you in that game in Dragonfly, which I may not have had time to do. So they're gonna, if they assign you on that same date, now you're in a situation where you're having to call that assigner or communicate with that assigner and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't accept that date." Don't do that, and do not put any of us, if you work for multiple assigners, don't put any of us in a waiting game situation where you're gonna wait to see who you get an assignment from that you favor. Once you've accepted an assignment from me, you've accepted the assignment. You're not coming out of it. With one exception. Obviously, Quinn works college basketball. If he's accepted a game from me, and the same thing is going to apply if Quinn's accepted a game, an NCHSAA game. I think Quinn can verify this as soon as I say what I'm about to say. If he's accepted that game and then he gets a call from, his Division II supervisor, and says, "Hey, I need you," and it's the same date, it conflicts with the high school game he's accepted. We're gonna do everything in our power to take you out of that game and replace you, right, Quinn?
Yeah, and let me say that I handle all these the same, whether it's to college supervisors, whether it's college and high school. When I get that call, especially if it's a college supervisor calling, I'm supposed to have a game for Chuck. I'm gonna say, I've got a high school assignment on that date. I know that if Chuck can let me out of that game, if there's any way he can, he will. Let me call Chuck. I'll call you back in 5, 10 minutes. As soon as I can get a hold of him, let me get out of that game, and then I'll be in yours. And that's what every supervisor will understand that, because they would want you to do the same thing for them, right? I mean, make sure I've committed over here. I'm sure I can get out of it, but let me just call and do that real quick. I should be able to get back to you in whatever it is, 10, 15 minutes. Um, and the same thing if for some reason, because it can happen that another high school supervisor, let's say, another high school supervisor calls you up, "Hey, I just, your name popped in my mind. I've got a assignment tonight. Is there any way you could be there?" And you've got a game for Chuck. In that situation, my advice would be tell that supervisor, "Hey, I've got a game for Chuck. If you really need me, you could call Chuck and see if you all could work, something out." Because it may be a situation where Chuck actually has somebody nearby he could put there. You could go to this other one. Everybody comes out, fine, and an extra guy gets an assignment, right? Which is great. It may be that he doesn't, right? But let the supervisors work it out. if it's sort of same level. Chuck, would you agree with that's how
Yeah,
you'd
that's
like to handle
one hundred
that?
percent. As a matter of fact, I've already had that discussion with our North Carolina High School Athletic Association supervisor, and he and I are completely on the same page with regard to that. That's exactly how we want that handled. Exactly. I don't foresee that happening. Uh, any more, I mean, maybe a rare occasion when that would happen, either from me calling or him calling it, but it could possibly happen. That's exactly the way I want it handled is supervisor to supervisor. And I will do everything in my power to cooperate with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association will do everything in its power to cooperate with them. Well, I will say this now, if you call me up, on the morning of, and say, hey, I just got a call from my JUCO supervisor, and even if it's a Division III supervisor, maybe even a Division II, and you call me up and say, hey, they need me to go to such and such. Well, if I'm in a situation where I'm in front of my stuff and I can take a look and see if I can let you go, I will. But if it's the morning of, the night before, the closer it is to game time, the more difficult it's going to be for me to work that out for you. But I will do anything I can when it's a higher level assignment. Because it's not only it's a higher level, I mean, I understand. I understand that situation. So I'll do everything I can to work through that with you in those situations. All right, but please cooperate with me and block your dates. Now, again, once you've accepted a game from me in Arbiter, but for me, block your dates in Arbiter. Once you've accepted a game from me in Arbiter, block that date in Dragonfly. Now you're going to say, well, but you got to put me in that game in Dragonfly. How are you going to do that if I block the date? Well, I know why you blocked the date. I'll see that you blocked the date, but I'm assuming you've accepted the game from me in Arbiter. So I'm assuming you went in to block the date so that you're blocked for everybody else that would be assigning to Dragonfly. Okay, if there's any confusion about that, pick up the phone and call me, and let's get going. I've got games coming up. In fact, I've already got a few assignments out, so I'm already in the process. So if you've got any questions about this as you're listening to this, when the video's over, just pick up the phone and call me as soon as you can. That's what I'm here for. I'd rather spend my time on stuff like that than spend my time replacing officials who I thought were available for an assignment. Speaking of accepting assignments, again, we're not going to play games. We're done playing games. When you get an assignment from me, I'm going to give you, generally speaking, by default, I give you 3 days in Arbiter to accept the assignment. I don't know why I do that, but I've always done it. I don't have to give anybody 3 days. I don't have to give anybody any days, but I've always done it that way. I'll continue to do it that way. There will be some times when I send an assignment out, I'll shorten that period. I'll go in manually and shorten that acceptance period to 2 days or 1 day. If I do it 1 day, I'll probably text you and say, hey, I just sent you an assignment. Be on the lookout for it. But my expectation is whether I give you 1 day or 3 days, that you're going to accept that assignment as promptly as you possibly can. Please don't make me chase you down to get you to accept an assignment. And please, again, we're not going to play games. Don't hold on, get an assignment from me and just let it sit there to see if maybe you get an assignment from somebody else that you like better. Just don't play those games. It's not going to do you any good with anybody because all of the supervisors that you're involved with at the equal level, and I know I have a pretty good relationship with some of the college supervisors too. We all are on good speaking terms with each other, and we don't want you playing games. None of them want you playing games with me because none of them want you guys playing games with them. And I learned a long time ago, when I first started practicing law, one of the things you do not want to do with a client is to lie for a client. Because a client will figure out very quickly if you lie for a client, then you're gonna be willing to lie against a client. So let's not put ourselves in that position. Let's have a great working relationship here. And again, if I've given you 3 days to accept an assignment, Quinn, and you don't, and for 3 days passed and you haven't accepted it yet, Arbiter automatically generates an email to me, shoots an email to me to tell me that you haven't accepted your assignment yet. What I've done in the past is I have emailed you, Quinn, can you please go in and accept your assignment? Thank you very much. Well, why do I have to do that? I mean, I don't feel like I'm getting paid to do that. So please don't make me do that. And I've got, just for y'all's information, I think there's 132 of you on the NBOA varsity staff. I'm probably gonna get to the point pretty quickly now where I'm gonna stop being such a nice guy like I was last year and the year before. I'm just gonna go replace you and, you can hope maybe you get an assignment from somebody else. You don't. But it's gonna affect how I look at you in terms of how anxious I am to give you future assignments. And it will any other, assigner as well. All right. Anything, Quinn, do you think I need to add with regard to accepting assignments?
I don't think so. I mean, a lot of very good officials on this staff. You don't want your availability or the way you handle your business to be something that differentiates yourself on the court, not with the way you handle your business. When you see that assignment, assuming, you should be open, just go ahead and hit accept.
It's easy too, through Arbiter. I mean, Arbiter sends you an email and you don't even have to log in to accept it, I don't think, at least not from your computer. I don't know about from your phone, but from your computer, you don't even need to log in to NBOA, to the NBOA group to accept your assignment. You can just do it right off the email that tells you you've got an assignment. Okay, make sure, please, that you confirm your assignments with your crew chiefs. Crew chiefs. If you're a crew chief in a game, if I've made you the crew chief, it is your responsibility to confirm with your two partners the upcoming game. And I generally do it. Again, Arbiter sends you an email I think it's three days before your game, assuming that we have that much time. Otherwise, it's a shorter period. But they send you an email reminding you that you've got a game coming up. It gives you all the details. Sends everybody in the crew that email. Crew chief. At that point, or as soon as possible thereafter, communicate by text or email, not by phone, not by, oh, I saw you out on the street yesterday. By text or email. I prefer email. Confirm with your two partners. Please don't put me in a position where you're at the game and Quinn hasn't shown up and you call me and you say, hey, is Quinn coming? Or no. What actually happens a lot of times is I get the phone call and say, hey, there's only two of us here. Me and Joe are here, but our third guy is not here. And I'll say, well, who is your third guy? Because apparently y'all think I just have that memorized, but I don't. Quinn could remember it, but I can't. I'm not as smart as Quinn. I have no problem admitting it. And I'll say, well, who's your partner? And invariably the answer is, oh, yeah, I don't remember. Well, have you communicated with the partner? No, never heard from him. So I don't know what everybody thinks I'm supposed to do 5 minutes before game time in that scenario. I'm good. I'm really good at what I do. I'm better at this than Quinn would be right now, even though he's a lot smarter than I am. I'm really pretty good at this, but I'm not that good. And all you've done there is, I mean, I'm too old to have a heart condition, so don't give me one. That gives me a heart condition. Please confirm with your partners and don't wait until 2 hours before the game to tell me, hey, so-and-so hasn't ever confirmed, if by the morning of you still haven't gotten confirmation, I need to know.
And
Uh,
confirm
yeah,
your site and confirm the game time. So
right.
I
Thank you.
just pulled up here to make sure I just pulled up a confirmation I sent last season. Hey guys, we've got a game together this Saturday at Site X. Tip is at 2 p.m., so I plan to arrive no later than 1 p.m. Please reply to confirm. Look forward to working with you. That's 4 sentences, but we've got the site, the day, the time. Make sure you have all those things. You don't want to have uh, Greensboro Day and Forsyth Country Day because that's a big game for in Chuck's league. I mean, they're all good games, but I mean that's going to be sort of right. You don't want to have that game and say, "Hey guys, we good for Friday," and then one of you shows up at Forsyth Country Day. The game's actually at Greensboro Day. That's that's no good. So time, day, site.
Very good. Thanks, Quinn. That's very helpful. On time, please be on time. I know that, at the high school level, with game times being what they are, that can be a challenge sometimes, and I understand that. Uh, but the standards of the NBOA varsity staff, the standard is 30 to 45 minutes prior to game time. And I prefer 45. And the reason I prefer 45, and I strongly prefer 45, or at least something between 30 and 45 at the minimum, is because of the importance that I place on um, pregame, the pregame conference among the officials in the dressing room. If you show up 30 minutes before game time, by the time you finish your little chit chat and gotten dressed, you got to be on the court 15 minutes before game time. So that if you show up 30 minutes, that only gives you 15 minutes. I don't think that's enough time to say hello to everybody and have a little bit of, chit chat and then get into the pregame. So my preference is 30 to 45 minutes. 30 minutes for sure. If you're gonna be in a situation where you've gotten hung up where you're gonna get hung up at work or something, have all your phone numbers in your phone, please. Call your partners or one of the two in the crew and let them know, hey, I'm gonna be screeching into the parking lot about 5 minutes before game time. Have them play an extra version of the national anthem or something. That can happen to anybody occasionally. Maybe I should use the word very occasion, maybe I should say very occasionally. But if it had keep everybody informed, and let's be professional. But I can tell you that athletic directors are looking for you to come through the door. And when they don't see three officials and it's 30 minutes before game time, 25 minutes before game time, I get a phone call. And then I get heartburn and I don't need a heart condition. I'm too old. I'm way. Let Quinn have the heart condition. He's young enough to recover. I'm too old. Please. And this staff, the NBOA varsity staff, and I'm not downgrading anybody else, but the NBOA varsity staff is a very high level professional high school staff. Let's keep it that way. And for those of you who are coming in for the first time this year to my NBOA varsity staff, the bar is set high. I'm just telling you that right now, and my expectations are high. Okay. On-court demeanor. I don't think I need to say a whole lot about that. I expect all of us to exhibit the utmost in professionalism. I'm very proud to say that last year was another year for the NBOA varsity staff where I don't remember getting a single complaint from an athletic director or a coach about professionalism. I may have gotten one somewhere along the line about professionalism, but if I did it, it didn't register with me. It couldn't have been anything that really deserved me getting a phone call about. So let's keep it that way. I will send out a whole, not a whole thing, but I'll send out some like bullet point things about communication with coaches and players, technical fouls, how I want that handled. I won't get into that this evening. I'll just send something out by email for all of you. Oh, and speaking of that, I mentioned that game fee payments are kind of all over the place. Um, I, I will send an email out. I did it last year. It's one more instance, one more way for me to discover that people don't read my emails. But I'll send an email out, and it'll list every school that we've got and how they pay. I mean, I literally gotten phone calls from people, within the last few weeks about, hey, I never got paid for such and such a game. I mean, that was back in January. Uh, so, kudos to you guys who don't need the money because you waited 3 or 4 or 5 months to tell me you didn't get paid for a game. And the money's in their auditor pay account, because that's how that school pays. So I'll send that email out, and if you can save it somewhere, so you can I don't expect you to memorize it. But I do expect you to save it, so that you can refer back to it. Mechanics, I've had this class, we're gonna follow all our schools play by the National Federation High School Rules and the National Federation High School Mechanics. We're gonna follow those mechanics with the exception of if it's a crew that I've assigned and all 3 officials work women's college basketball, you're free to work women's college basketball, mechanics, and court coverage. Same thing if it's a crew of 3 officials who work men's college basketball. The only thing, as far as the high school mechanics are concerned, the only difference that I have that I expect my varsity staff to follow that is different from the Federation mechanic is the primary responsibility on the end of period shot. I want the center official, the slot official, to have primary responsibility for that, whether the center official is table side or across the table, across from the table or table side is irrelevant to me. I want the slot official to take that. I would prefer, when that even an all men's college crew, follow that. Because the high school game is so much, to me, demands that, whereas the college game doesn't. But, I'm not gonna get, all wadded up over that one way or the other. Again, all men's college crew I'm leaving it to them to exercise good judgment in that regard. Same thing with the rules. I've been asked this question several times. I think we covered it briefly, and I think Quinn probably did, as a matter of fact, in one of our clinics. We're strictly NFHS rules, period. So the questions come up. Actually, I was asked last week, recently, if we have a large and the ball goes to the basket, are we going to count that basket or not? The NFHS rule is we count the basket. I don't know what the North Carolina High School Athletic Association is doing about that. I know what the issue is. And I don't care with the North Carolina High School Athletic. That's their business. It's fine with me, whatever they do. I don't have a dog in the fight. For the Northwest basketball officials assigned games, we will count that basket. Just follow the rule book. Any questions about that? Gwen, do I need to elaborate on that at all?
I don't think
Gwen,
so.
that's okay. Well, that's really all I feel like I need to that I want to say. Again, I'm very, very proud of the Northwest Basketball Officials Association varsity staff. The NBOA consists of just under 230 officials right now. But not, but of that number, about 100, I think it's 130, I'd go back and look at it. I think it's 130, well, just under that, are on the varsity staff. And I'm very proud of that staff, very proud of you guys. Did a wonderful job last year. I know you're gonna do a wonderful job this year. Uh, I show up for the games. I watch tape. And you guys have made me very, very proud. Every time I go out and watch, I go like, damn, you guys are good. So I'm really looking forward to the season. I'm excited about it. That's all I've got to say, Quinn, unless you feel like there are questions out there that you feel like I should answer at this point.
I don't think so. I think we're all good to go. Hope everybody has a great season, stays healthy, and look forward to hopefully seeing some folks out on the court.
Especially stay healthy. And Friday nights will be, it's been scattered out. Friday nights, post games will be at Kickback Jack again. Everybody's invited, whether it doesn't matter who you work for that night. Let's all get together and have some camaraderie and, go over some plays and, have fun with each other. Quinn, thank you so much for, joining me in this.
Absolutely.
Good night.